The cacophony of New York City was Aaron's reality. Sirens wailed, traffic roared, millions of lives intertwined, yet Aaron felt profoundly alone. Raised Catholic, he attended Mass, recited prayers, yet felt a spiritual emptiness. The grandeur of cathedrals couldn't fill the void within him. His heart yearned for something more, something deeper, something true. Aaron sought solace in music. The rhythm, the melody, the poetry of song resonated with his soul. He found himself drawn to the soulful tunes of the Middle East, the mystical melodies of Sufi music. He spent hours researching instruments, their origins, their cultural significance. This passion led him to online forums, connecting with musicians worldwide. He stumbled upon a group of Sufi musicians based in Indonesia. They invited him to experience their music firsthand. Their invitation resonated with Aaron's longing for something more. He booked a flight, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. This trip was more than just music. It was a pilgrimage for his soul. Indonesia welcomed Aaron with open arms. The warmth of the people was palpable, their smiles genuine and their hospitality unmatched. Aaron felt an immediate connection, as if he had been here before, in another life, perhaps. The humid air, thick with the scent of incense and spices, was a stark contrast to the concrete jungle he left behind. The bustling street markets, filled with vibrant colors and exotic aromas, were a sensory overload, yet oddly comforting. The tropical landscape, with its lush greenery and dense foliage, seemed to breathe life into his weary soul. Gone were the towering skyscrapers, replaced by lush green rice paddies and ancient temples. The serene rural landscape, dotted with traditional thatched roof houses, offered a sense of peace and tranquility that Aaron had long forgotten. The ancient temples, with their intricate carvings and sacred aura, seemed to whisper secrets of a bygone era. The frenetic pace of New York City seemed like a distant memory. The constant rush, the blaring horns, the sea of anonymous faces, all of it felt like a different world. Here, in Indonesia, time seemed to slow down, allowing Aaron to savor each moment, to truly live in the present. Here, life moved to a different rhythm, slower, more deliberate. The villagers went about their daily routines with a sense of purpose and contentment. There was no rush, no urgency, just a gentle flow of time that seemed to align with the natural world. Aaron found himself adapting to this new pace, feeling a sense of calm he had never experienced before. The Sufi musicians embraced Aaron like a long-lost friend. Their music, a soulful blend of rhythm and melody, spoke to him in a language beyond words. The musicians, with their warm smiles and open hearts, welcomed him into their world, sharing their art and their stories. They shared their music, their culture, their faith. Each note, each beat was a testament to their rich heritage and deep spirituality. Aaron was not just a spectator. He was an active participant, learning to play the traditional instruments, joining in the communal meals, and engaging in deep conversations about life and faith. Their days were filled with rehearsals, lively discussions about spirituality and life, and heartfelt prayers. The rehearsals were not just about perfecting the music, they were a form of meditation, a way to connect with the divine. The discussions, often held under the shade of a banyan tree, were enlightening, offering Aaron new perspectives and insights. For the first time, Aaron felt a sense of belonging. He was no longer an outsider looking in. He was part of a community, a family. The bonds he formed were deep and genuine, built on mutual respect and shared experiences. The music was a bridge connecting his soul to something larger than himself. It transcended language and cultural barriers, creating a universal language of its own. Each performance was a spiritual journey, a moment of transcendence that left Aaron feeling more connected to the world and to himself. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Aaron found himself in a mosque with his new friends. The mosque, with its serene ambience and beautiful architecture, was a place of peace and reflection. The call to prayer, echoing through the evening air, was a reminder of the divine presence in everyday life. They invited him to witness the Maghrib, the sunset prayer. The prayer, a beautiful blend of recitation and prostration, was a moment of deep spiritual connection. Aaron watched in awe as his friends prayed, their faces serene and their hearts open. As the melodious call to prayer echoed through the mosque, Aaron felt a shift within himself. It was as if a door had opened, allowing him to see the world in a new light. The prayer, with its simplicity and sincerity, touched him deeply, stirring emotions he had long suppressed. He was captivated by the beauty and serenity of the ritual, the rhythmic recitation, the graceful movements, the collective devotion. It was a dance of the soul, a symphony of faith. Aaron felt a sense of peace and fulfillment that he had never known before. It was a stark contrast to the elaborate ceremonies of his Catholic upbringing. The grandeur and formality of the Catholic Mass, with its ornate rituals and solemn hymns, seemed worlds apart from the simplicity and intimacy of the Maghrib prayer. Yet both were expressions of faith, different paths leading to the same destination. Yet it resonated with him on a deeper level. The Maghrib prayer, with its focus on humility and gratitude, spoke to Aaron's soul. It was a reminder of the beauty of faith, the power of community, and the importance of finding one's own path in the journey of life. After prayer, an elderly gentleman approached Aaron. Aaron had been feeling lost for some time, searching for something he couldn't quite name. The mosque had become a place of refuge, a place where he could sit quietly and think. His eyes twinkled with wisdom and kindness. There was a depth in those eyes that spoke of years of experience, of countless stories and lessons learned. He spoke no English, yet his smile transcended language barriers. It was a smile that said, "I understand," without needing words. Aaron felt an immediate sense of comfort. They communicated through gestures and smiles, sharing tea and stories. The old man pointed to the sky, to his heart, and then to Aaron, as if to say that faith was a universal language. Despite the language barrier, Aaron felt a profound connection with the old man. It was as if they were speaking the same language, the language of the soul. Through a translator app, the old man asked Aaron about his faith. He wanted to know what Aaron believed in, what gave him strength and hope. Aaron hesitated, unsure how to explain the emptiness he felt. He had always considered himself spiritual, but had never found a path that truly resonated with him. The old man listened patiently, his gaze filled with understanding. He nodded, encouraging Aaron to share more, to open up about his struggles. He then spoke about Islam, about the beauty of submission to God, about the peace that came with surrendering to a higher power. He described how faith had transformed his life, bringing him a sense of purpose and tranquility. His words touched Aaron's heart. It was as if a light had been switched on inside him, illuminating the darkness that had been there for so long. It was as if the old man had plucked the questions that had been swirling in Aaron's mind and laid them bare. Questions about existence, about purpose, about what it meant to truly live. That night, Aaron couldn't sleep. His mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions, all stirred up by the old man's words. The old man's words echoed in his ears. He replayed their conversation over and over, trying to grasp the full meaning of what had been said. He found himself drawn to the mosque again, seeking solace in the peaceful atmosphere. The quiet, the sense of community, the feeling of being part of something greater than himself. It all called to him. He observed the Muslims praying, their bodies swaying in unison, their faces reflecting an inner peace that he craved. He watched them, feeling a sense of longing, a desire to understand and to be a part of that peace. Aaron closed his eyes and whispered a prayer of his own, hoping to find the answers he was seeking. In that moment he felt a flicker of hope, a sense that he was on the right path. As the sun rose the next morning, Aaron felt a renewed sense of purpose. The chance encounter with the elderly man had sparked something within him, a journey of faith and self-discovery that he was eager to continue. Aaron began reading the Quran, initially with curiosity, a curiosity that stemmed from a deep-seated need to understand the world and his place within it. He had always been a seeker, someone who questioned the status quo and yearned for deeper truths. The Quran, with its poetic verses and profound wisdom, seemed like a beacon of light in his otherwise tumultuous life. Then, with growing interest, the words resonated with his soul, touching parts of him that he didn't even know existed. Each verse felt like a conversation with the divine, offering solace and guidance. The more he read, the more he felt a sense of peace wash over him, as if he had finally found the missing piece of a complex puzzle, offering answers to questions that had haunted him for years. He discovered the concept of Tawhid, the oneness of God, a concept that resonated deeply with his own yearning for a singular, all-encompassing truth. This idea of a single, omnipotent creator brought him immense comfort, simplifying the complexities of existence into a coherent, unified vision, a concept that resonated deeply with his own yearning for a singular, all-encompassing truth. The more he learned about Islam, the more he was drawn to its simplicity and its emphasis on social justice, compassion, and equality. These were values he had always held dear but had struggled to find in other belief systems. Islam, with its clear guidelines and moral framework, provided him with a roadmap for living a righteous life. The more he was drawn to its simplicity and its emphasis on social justice, compassion, and equality. He found beauty in the 5 pillars of Islam, the framework for a meaningful life grounded in faith and good deeds. Each pillar represented a different aspect of devotion and community, from the daily prayers that kept him connected to God to the fasting during Ramadan that taught him self-discipline and empathy for the less fortunate, and equality. He found beauty in the 5 pillars of Islam, the framework for a meaningful life grounded in faith and good deeds. He was particularly moved by the concept of zakat, charity given to the poor, a testament to Islam's commitment to social responsibility. This act of giving was not just a charitable deed, but a spiritual obligation that reminded him of the interconnectedness of all human beings. The framework for a meaningful life grounded in faith and good deeds. He was particularly moved by the concept of zakat, charity given to the poor, a testament to Islam's commitment to social responsibility. Aaron started attending the mosque regularly, finding comfort in the community and the shared prayers. The mosque became a sanctuary for him, a place where he could escape the chaos of the outside world and find inner peace. Charity given to the poor, a testament to Islam's commitment to social responsibility. Aaron started attending the mosque regularly, finding comfort in the community and the shared prayers. He felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. The rituals of Islam, the ablutions before prayer, the prostrations, the community breaking fast together during Ramadan, filled him with a sense of purpose and connection, a testament to Islam's commitment to social responsibility. Aaron started attending the mosque regularly, finding comfort in the community and the shared prayers. He felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. The rituals of Islam, the ablutions before prayer, the prostrations, the community breaking fast together during Ramadan, filled him with a sense of purpose and connection. He was no longer just an observer, but an active participant in something larger than himself, finding comfort in the community and the shared prayers. He felt a sense of belonging he had never experienced before. The rituals of Islam, the ablutions before prayer, the prostrations, the community breaking fast together during Ramadan filled him with a sense of purpose and connection. He was no longer just an observer, but an active participant in something larger than himself. The sense of unity and brotherhood he found in the mosque was unparalleled. It was a place where people from all walks of life came together, united by their faith and their shared commitment to living a righteous life. The community breaking fast together during Ramadan filled him with a sense of purpose and connection. He was no longer just an observer, but an active participant in something larger than himself. The sense of unity and brotherhood he found in the mosque was unparalleled. It was a place where people from all walks of life came together, united by their faith and their shared commitment to living a righteous life. Aaron found solace in the daily rituals, the structured prayers, and the communal gatherings. Each act of worship was a step closer to understanding his purpose and his place in the grand scheme of things, filled him with a sense of purpose and connection. He was no longer just an observer, but an active participant in something larger than himself. The sense of unity and brotherhood he found in the mosque was unparalleled. It was a place where people from all walks of life came together, united by their faith and their shared commitment to living a righteous life. Aaron found solace in the daily rituals, the structured prayers, and the communal gatherings. Each act of worship was a step closer to understanding his purpose and his place in the grand scheme of things. The journey was not always easy, but it was profoundly rewarding. Through Islam, Aaron found a path that led him to inner peace, a sense of belonging, and a deeper connection to the world around him. but an active participant in something larger than himself. The journey was not always easy, but it was profoundly rewarding. Through Islam, Aaron found a path that led him to inner peace, a sense of belonging, and a deeper connection to the world around him. He realized that submission to the will of God was not a sign of weakness, but a source of immense strength. It was in this submission that he found true freedom, a freedom that came from knowing that he was part of a greater plan, a divine purpose.
Aaron's story is a testament to the power of music. From a young age, he was drawn to the melodies and rhythms that filled his home. Music was not just a hobby for him. It was a way of life, a means of expressing his innermost thoughts and emotions. He found his spiritual home in Islam. The call to prayer, the recitations of the Quran, and the communal gatherings at the mosque all resonated deeply with him. It was here that he felt a profound sense of belonging and peace. His journey began with the melodies of his Jewish upbringing. The songs and prayers of his childhood were filled with rich history and tradition. These early experiences shaped his understanding of faith and spirituality. These sounds resonated deep within his soul. But something was missing. Despite the beauty and depth of his Jewish heritage, Aaron felt an inexplicable void. He longed for a deeper connection, a more profound understanding of the divine. He yearned for a deeper connection. This yearning led him on a quest for spiritual fulfillment, a journey that would take him beyond the familiar confines of his upbringing. Aaron's exploration led him to the enchanting world of Sufi music. The mystical sounds and rhythms of Sufism captivated his heart. He was drawn to the way Sufi musicians used their art to express their devotion and love for the divine. This ancient tradition, rooted in Islamic mysticism, captivated his spirit. The whirling dervishes, the soul-stirring chants, and the poetry of Rumi, they all spoke to him. Each performance was a spiritual experience, a moment of transcendence that brought him closer to the divine. The poetry of Rumi, with its profound insights and timeless wisdom, resonated deeply with Aaron. He spent countless hours reading and reflecting on Rumi's words, finding in them a source of inspiration and guidance. This was not just about the beauty of the music, it was about the message behind it. The themes of love, unity, and the pursuit of the divine in Sufi music spoke to Aaron's soul. It was about the message behind it. The music was a vehicle for conveying profound spiritual truths, truths that resonated with Aaron's own quest for meaning and purpose. Sufism, with its emphasis on love, tolerance, and the pursuit of the divine, resonated with Aaron's own yearning for spiritual fulfillment. He found in Sufism a path that aligned with his values and aspirations. He saw the universality of its message. The teachings of Sufism transcended religious boundaries, offering a vision of spirituality that was inclusive and all-embracing. He felt a connection that transcended religious boundaries. Through his journey, Aaron discovered that the essence of spirituality is universal, a common thread that unites people of all faiths. Aaron's story is not just about conversion. It is about a journey of self-discovery. It is about finding a path that resonated with his innermost values and aspirations. It is about a journey of self-discovery. Through his exploration of different spiritual traditions, Aaron came to a deeper understanding of himself and his place in the world. It's about finding a path that aligned with his values and aspirations. Aaron's journey was not just about adopting a new faith, but about embracing a way of life that brought him closer to the divine. Through music, he discovered a bridge between faiths. Music became a means of connecting with others, of sharing his spiritual journey, and learning from the experiences of others. He embraced the beauty of diversity and the common threads that unite humanity. Aaron's story is a testament to the power of music and spirituality to bring people together, to transcend boundaries, and to create a sense of unity and harmony. Aaron's story challenges us to confront stereotypes. He invites us to see beyond the surface and delve into the deeper connections that bind us all. He breaks down the walls that often divide Islam and Judaism, showing us that these barriers are often constructed from ignorance and fear. Many see these faiths as polar opposites, locked in perpetual conflict. But this perspective overlooks the profound similarities and shared values that unite them. They focus on their differences, ignoring their shared heritage. Both religions trace their roots back to Abraham, a common patriarch, and share many of the same prophets and stories. Aaron's journey reminds us of the common ground between these Abrahamic traditions. He shows us that by focusing on our shared values, we can build bridges of understanding and cooperation. Both faiths emphasize compassion, justice, and a deep reverence for the divine. They teach us to care for the less fortunate, to seek justice, and to live lives of integrity and purpose. They share a rich history and a commitment to ethical living. From the ancient texts that guide their followers to the rituals that mark their days, there is much that binds them together. Aaron's story dismantles the simplistic narratives that fuel prejudice. He shows us that our identities are complex and multifaceted, and that we can embrace multiple aspects of who we are. He embodies the possibility of embracing multiple identities. By doing so, he challenges us to rethink our own assumptions and to see the world in a more nuanced way. He shows us that faith is not about rigid categories. It's about the search for truth and meaning, a journey that is deeply personal and yet universally shared. It's about the search for truth and meaning. This quest transcends religious boundaries and speaks to the core of our shared humanity. His journey encourages us to look beyond labels. It invites us to see the person behind the faith, to recognize our common humanity, and to celebrate our differences as sources of strength. We must recognize the humanity in each other. By doing so, we can build a world that is more just, more compassionate, and more united. This is especially crucial in a world often divided by fear and misunderstanding. Aaron's story is a powerful reminder that we have the power to change this narrative, to build bridges instead of walls, and to create a future where our shared humanity is celebrated. Music is a universal language. It transcends borders and languages. In Aaron's story, music becomes a bridge between cultures and faiths. It's a conduit for understanding and empathy. Think of the Sufi melodies that captivated Aaron. They carry centuries of tradition and spiritual wisdom. These melodies have the power to touch hearts and open minds. They invite us to connect with something larger than ourselves. Music can break down barriers. It fosters dialogue and understanding. It reminds us of our shared humanity. It allows us to connect on a deeper level. Aaron's journey exemplifies the power of art to inspire spiritual transformation. Music became his guide. It led him to a place of greater understanding and acceptance. Section 4. A Personal Odyssey. Finding Resonance in Islam. Aaron's conversion to Islam was deeply personal. It was a journey that took him through many phases of introspection and reflection. He spent countless hours pondering over the teachings of Islam, comparing them with his own beliefs, and seeking a deeper understanding of his place in the world. It wasn't a rejection of his Jewish upbringing. Aaron cherished his Jewish roots and the values instilled in him by his family. The traditions, the festivals, and the sense of community were all integral parts of his identity. Rather, it was an embrace of a path that resonated with his soul. He found that the teachings of Islam spoke to him in a way that was profound and transformative. It was as if he had found a missing piece of a puzzle that completed his spiritual picture. He found a spiritual home that nurtured his yearning for meaning and connection. The sense of belonging he felt within the Muslim community was unparalleled. The shared prayers, the communal gatherings, and the collective acts of worship all contributed to a deep sense of unity and brotherhood. Islam's emphasis on submission to the divine resonated with Aaron. The concept of surrendering to a higher power and trusting in the divine plan brought him immense peace. It was a humbling experience that allowed him to let go of his anxieties and fears. The 5 pillars provided a framework for spiritual growth and discipline. Each pillar, from the declaration of faith to the pilgrimage to Mecca, offered a structured path for Aaron to follow. These practices helped him cultivate a disciplined and mindful approach to life. He found solace in prayer and community. The daily prayers became a source of comfort and strength, grounding him in moments of uncertainty. The community gatherings, whether for prayer or social events, reinforced his sense of belonging and support. This was not a decision made lightly. Aaron spent years exploring different faiths and philosophies, seeking answers to his existential questions. He read extensively, attended lectures, and engaged in deep conversations with people of various beliefs. It was a gradual process of exploration and self-discovery. Aaron studied Islamic teachings with an open mind and heart. He delved into the Quran, the Hadith, and the writings of Islamic scholars, seeking to understand the essence of the faith. He engaged with Muslims from diverse backgrounds. These interactions enriched his understanding and appreciation of the faith. He learned about the cultural diversity within Islam and how different communities practice their faith. He sought answers to his questions and wrestled with doubts. Aaron was not afraid to question and challenge his own beliefs. He sought guidance from mentors and scholars who helped him navigate his spiritual journey. In the end, it was a matter of the heart. Aaron realized that faith was not just about intellectual understanding, but also about emotional and spiritual resonance. His heart found peace in the teachings of Islam. Islam felt like coming home. It provided him with a sense of peace and purpose that he had been seeking. The faith offered him a comprehensive way of life that aligned with his values and aspirations. It provided him with a sense of peace and purpose that he had been seeking. The journey was long and sometimes challenging, but in the end, Aaron found a spiritual home in Islam that fulfilled his deepest yearnings and brought him a profound sense of contentment. Section 5. Navigating Identity, Balancing Faith and Family. Aaron's journey was not without its challenges. Balancing his newfound faith with his family's expectations required courage and sensitivity. He had to navigate complex emotions. His family, steeped in Jewish tradition, struggled to understand his decision. They feared losing him to a faith they viewed with suspicion. This created tension and heartache. Aaron approached these conversations with love and respect. He patiently explained his reasons for converting. He emphasized that his love for his family remained unchanged. It was a delicate dance between honoring his own truth and respecting his family's beliefs. He understood their concerns. He hoped that, in time, they would come to accept his choice. Section 6. The courage to embrace change. Choosing a different path takes courage. This is especially true when it comes to matters of faith. Aaron's story highlights the bravery required to follow one's convictions, even in the face of opposition. It would have been easier to ignore the call he felt in his heart. He could have conformed to societal expectations. Instead, he chose to honor his truth. This required immense strength. Aaron's courage wasn't about defiance. It was about authenticity. It was about living a life true to his beliefs, even if it meant challenging the status quo. His story inspires us to examine our own lives. Are we living authentically? Do we have the courage to embrace change, even when it's